Welcome to another Horror Review Sunday. It's December, so it's time to talk about Christmas horror movies, and we're going to talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3. Better watch out for this movie, because it's garbage. Yeah, instead of putting coal in stockings, how about we just start putting copies of this movie in stockings? If your kid's naughty, because it's worse than having coal. So, plot synopsis for this movie. It is 6 years after the events of Part 2. Ricky is in a coma, and a doctor has fixed his brain. He's connected his brain to this blind girl who has psychic abilities, and he's trying to, I guess, dive into the mind of a serial killer, trying to see what makes him tick, I guess. It's not really fully explored or explained, I don't think, but I'm guessing that he just wants to hear from Laura what's going on in the brain of this psychopath. What's he thinking? That's really the story. But then, Ricky one day wakes up on Christmas Eve, of course, and breaks out and for some reason wants to just go after Laura and her grandmother for reasons unknown. What's his motivation? Why them? Because of the link, the psychic link, because of all the sessions at the hospital? Why them? Why not anybody? Why not just go somewhere else? But whatever. All right, so yeah, there you go. Plot synopsis. So, not a good one, but this isn't a good movie. So, let's get into the things that I like. There's hardly anything. Really nothing, but I'll try to grasp at straws to find something good to say about this movie. It at least attempts to have some continuity with the franchise. This movie, although it feels to me like this was not a Silent Night, Deadly Night script. And then they just threw in Ricky at some point right before they started shooting. Like, let's just throw Ricky in here and we'll throw some footage from part 1. Why part 1? That's Billy's movie. Why not part 2? That's Ricky's movie. But they do bring back Ricky. It's 6 years later. He looks completely different though, and for some reason he's got his brain exposed in like some glass casing. In part 2, he got shot in the chest a couple of times. Why this? Why is this happening? A cop says, I was there that night in part 2. I blew half his head off. No, you did not. I saw that movie. That never happened. But it attempts to have continuity with the characters. Just one character. So there's that. And this movie, unlike part 2 for the most part, actually has some Christmas atmosphere in it. Not a whole lot, but it does kind of have that Christmas feel. There's characters singing Christmas songs and humming them. I think they're playing on the radio at times, Christmas carols. So it kind of at least feels like a Christmas movie. So I'll give it that. And you get one girl naked in the movie, so you got some nudity. I'll give it that. And that's it. I mean, Bill Moseley's in here, but it's not positive because he doesn't do shit in this movie. He's the main killer, and he says, like, nothing. He's wooden. And guess who else is wooden? Almost everybody else. Negatives. All right. So the main actress in this movie is awful. A lot of the acting from everybody in this movie is awful. The reactions make no sense when bad things are happening and they're being attacked. The reactions to that, their emotions, how not scared they are is ridiculous. It's so bad that you laugh at it. All right. But this movie is not even so bad that it's entertaining. Like a Silent Night, Deadly Night, like 1 and 2. Although one's... I think that movie's still somewhat good, and it's not a greatly made movie, but I really enjoy part 1. That's why I bought the fucking shirt. 2 is more so bad it's good territory. 3 is just so bad that you want to turn it off. This movie opens up with a woman sleeping as the credits roll, letting you know right off the bat that this movie at some point is probably going to make you sleep, because this movie is boring. It's so slow. There's so many shots that last way too long, scenes that just don't belong. There's lots of filler in here, throwaway character after throwaway character, not any proper tension in the film at all, poorly executed scares, and no proper character setup. So I don't know this brother of Laura that well, and the movie's just poorly written. Bad dialogue, poor dialogue, cringy at times. The dialogue from the cop and the doctor when they're driving around is laughable. It's so embarrassing. And it's just so poorly written. Like, so we're told that this girl has psychic power. She's got some power that she got after a plane crash. But then her grandma seems to have this power, and she was not in that plane crash. And if she had powers and psychic abilities, don't you think she would have been able to foresee her demise? But she just lets Bill Moseley go right into her house with a exposed brain and like a hospital gown. Like nobody questions shit. It's ridiculous. People pick up Bill Moseley on a highway in a hospital gown, exposed brain. It's absolutely absurd. There's just little moments like that where you kind of chuckle and you have a decent time, but it's right back to shit territory right after that, and it's just a bad movie. The pace is dreadfully slow, and it's just a poorly written story. I don't care for this psychic story. It's just like Halloween 5. Same year. Halloween 5, 89. Then this movie. It's like they were hearing about what was going on in Halloween 5 on their set. Like, what are they doing? Some psychic story? Let's do that too. Let's throw that in here. Let's do, like, it never works out for a movie. You should never go down the psychic route. They did it with part 7, Friday the 13th, with Tina and her abilities. And this movie is doing it too, and it's just so dumb. Now let's talk about the kills. Every single one of them are off camera. Blood splat hits the wall. You know, grandma gets killed off camera, cuts away, you hear her scream, everything's off camera. You get a couple of aftermath shots, one of them being funny, and it's completely goreless. It offers you literally nothing. There's no kills on screen, there's no gore or creativeness here. So, what's the point? Like, this is a slasher movie with no on screen slashing. One thing that was cool about part 1 and 2 was the fact that it was a killer Santa walking around in a Santa outfit. But in this movie, we get none of that. Bill Moseley, his character Ricky, he wakes up from his coma when a Santa walks into his room, and you think it's written in there so that he'll kill the Santa and take his outfit. But he doesn't. So it's just like trying to like surprise you, like, aha, you thought we were going to do that, but we went this direction instead. Fooled you. It's just stupid. Well, why write that scene at all? It's just convenient as fuck. Like a dumb, drunken pervert Santa saying vulgar shit to nurses, walks into the room, and then he just conveniently wakes up in that moment. Was it because there was a Santa, or was it just convenience? Probably both. I don't know. He just kills the Santa, walks out, no outfit, and easily breaks out of the hospital, and no one tries to stop him. He just walks out, easy peasy. It's, like I said, the writing is so poor. I read that this movie was written like in a week, and the original script was rejected, and that's what they used for part 4. And this one was rewritten by the director and his daughter, who I'm sure was not even a writer at the time. But I'll help you, Daddy. And then she got to have a small role in this movie too, as one of the nurses. It's just a poorly written script. No imagination here. No tension. No great characters that I give a shit about. The main character, she's wooden as hell. Bad performances. Bad kills. A waste for Bill Moseley. You have Bill Moseley in your movie, you're gonna just have him be a reanimated corpse saying nothing. Like Ricky, his character in part 2 was hysterical. Garbage day, and just his eyebrows and shit. Like all that's gone. No words from him, no personality, no intimidation. All of a sudden, he's like Jason Voorhees, kind of breaking through doors, physically impossible. This movie's trash. So when it comes to Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3, fuck this movie. It is wasted time, and there's one thing I would rather do than watch this movie ever again, and that is to blow my brains out. So this movie opens up with a dream sequence. The doctor's trying to connect her dreams to his dream, like trying to like dive into Ricky's mind, and it's an obvious dream sequence because of the way it's shot, the way it looks, and she bumps into Ricky in her dream. So why is she blind? I forgot to mention that in my negatives. She's blind for no reason, because throughout the movie, every time she bumps into Moseley, Ricky, she screams. Like he's outside the window and she looks at the window and she screams. Like she can feel his presence wherever she is. Like her being blind is completely irrelevant to the story. It does nothing in the end. And her power also, really. Like by the end of it does nothing. But we'll get there. So, yeah, she gets her wrist slit in her dream, and then in every shot after that, her wrist is no longer slit. And then she just jumps on Santa's lap and starts talking to Santa about what she wants for Christmas, completely ignoring the fact that in her dream she was just getting attacked like it never happened. But I did have a chuckle at that dream at the end when she's like, I want a Barbie in a playhouse. And then Santa raises a knife and she's screaming. Her scream is awful, too. Awful scream. And so then she starts seeing memories of Ricky. We're supposed to believe these are Ricky's memories. You know, their brains are connected with all the gadgets and whatnot. So, like, that's the whole point, right? Connecting their brains together and shit like that. So, what we're seeing from part one is supposed to be memories from Ricky, right? But that doesn't make sense because Ricky in part one, in that scene that they keep showing, is a like few month old infant baby. Like he's just a few months old. It's a little kid crying. Billy, those are his memories. He's the one that's like 5 years old. I mean, it doesn't make sense. How are these memories of Ricky? You don't ever have memories from that age. Get the fuck out of here. That's just so stupid. Everybody in this movie seems to be just despicable, just so you don't give a shit when they die, like the drunken Santa who just comes barging in and he wakes up Ricky, gets killed. You don't give a fuck, in his reaction, all the acting there, the way that's done, laughable. And then the receptionist lady who's like, I'm too busy to help you, blind woman. It's like, she just wants you to let her know when her brother's there to pick her up. Why you gotta be such a cunt? And then she gets killed. You don't give a shit. And that's like the one good, like, practical effect, like, appliance on her throat. Like, it's slit, like, so wide and deep. Like, it's actually a decent effect right there. They bring back the whole every time Ricky sees something red, it triggers him thing from part two. That's back in here. The red Santa outfit, the red flower on the receptionist, the red gift that the grandma's giving him later on. So they bring that back. Although he doesn't need to see anything red when he kills the doctor or anyone else after that. So yeah, that's not consistent at all. Another thing that's not really consistent is the amount of powers each one has. Like Billy, no, not Billy, Ricky, he seems to hear and see things around Laura clearly. And Laura doesn't really see and hear everything that's going on with Ricky. So, because if she did, she would have been freaking out a hell of a lot more when he killed her grandma. But she's not freaking out at all. So it's like, it's not consistent. Like he can hear and see more of what's going on in her life, but she can't for him. And he somehow knows where her grandma lives, and he beats her to that house. Like they left before him, way before him. And he's a fucking walking zombie. He walks slow in this movie. He's like Dick Warlock in Halloween 2. But he's like walking down the highway. This idiot picks him up, throws a red sweater at his face, and it triggers him, so he kills him. It's like, why did you pick up a guy in a hospital gown and his brain fully exposed in some glass casing? And then he gets to the grandma's house, and she's like, oh, come on in, stranger, with the brain exposed. Like he has a hat on, but it's on like, it's skewed. It's like sideways. Like he didn't even try at all to hide his brain from anybody. Like, I guess it's just supposed to be funny that he put it on sideways like that. But the fact that he's not saying a word throughout the whole scene when she's giving him dinner, like sitting him down, giving him meals and drinks and talking. Like, she's never questioning the brain thing, and she's never questioning the fucked up look on his face, like his eyelid is like swollen or something. And then she's never questioning the fact that he's just so silent and creepy. She's just the nicest, most oblivious woman in the world. And she's supposed to be psychic too. Like her phone rings and she's like, it's about to ring. And then it rings. So she's psychic, but she couldn't predict her own death and that this guy was bad news. That doesn't make sense at all. Ricky, he kills this gas attendant guy and takes his clothes, I think, puts his head on a table looking at a TV. I thought that was kind of funny. And yeah, there's a lot of elements of Halloween. We got an escaped mental guy and a cop and a doctor teaming up, driving around town like, we need to find this guy. So we got Dr. Loomis and Sheriff Brackett looking for Myers in this film. Lots of Halloween elements here. Even though Laura's blind, she still likes to watch TV. That's kind of interesting. And why does the brother give a shit what his sister thinks about his girlfriend? Like, if I had a girlfriend and my sister was like, I don't like your girlfriend, I'd be like, So I'm still gonna be with her. She makes me happy. Like this guy's like, come on, give her a chance. Who gives a fuck? Like that's usually something you would see with like parents and their kids. Like, come on, give the step parent a chance. But it's different in this movie. Come on, sis, like my girlfriend. And why is she so mean to the girlfriend? That's never explored. Like, why is she such a bitch? Like, another reason why I don't give a shit about Laura is because she's a bitch. She's kind of vulgar at times, too. She's telling dirty jokes, which I kind of like. Um, so, yeah, that was just all stupid. And speaking of stupid, there's a lot more to come here. So, he's like bursting through the door somehow. He's got all this strength. He's Ted White in the final chapter, breaking through doors and windows. He is grabbing the girlfriend, and the sister and brother, their reactions are awful. Just watch that scene. It's so goddamn terrible. But as it's happening, the sister is like, there's no point. Because he's like stabbing Ricky's hand, and she's like, there's no point. Like, you can't hurt him. Like, she's given the most wooden performance ever. Like, she's given up. There's no point in trying no more. Just let him in. Let him kill us right now so this movie can fucking end. And as that's happening, there's no music whatsoever. Like, when the hands break through, the girl's screaming, the guy's going for a knife, and she's doing her awful performance. Like, there's no music at all. There's a lot of moments in the movie where there's, like, missing music that you would usually have to try to build some suspense and tension and stuff like that. It's all missing here. The music is just fucking awful. And then we get this attack outside. They go looking for the bad guy, and again, like the reactions, the emotions, they're missing. They're just like, what was that guy? Like, because the girlfriend's safe, and they get a shotgun, and they're just like, who was that guy? What was going on? Like, they should be freaking out. They should be a lot more scared, but they're not. And they go outside, and then the brother gets attacked, stabbed in the gut. Meanwhile, they're just watching him die. It's like Ginny in part 2. Paul, I'm just going to watch you get your ass kicked for a little bit. And they're just watching him get killed, but like the sister is being held back by the girlfriend, so I guess the sister loves the brother more than the girlfriend. Because they're not really trying that much to help at all. So it's just so annoying. But then the brother is alive later on. He comes back just to die. Literally, he just comes back to die. But the girlfriend gets killed too. Like she hides the blind girl in one room, and then she goes into this other bedroom. She goes underneath the bed and immediately gets attacked because Bill Moseley, Ricky, he just knew that was the bed she was going to go hide underneath, and he grabs her and kills her off camera. And for you gun experts out there, the brother in this movie talks about how the bullets he has are like 100 years old. Don't bullets expire at some point and not work? I remember hearing that, but I did not look up if that's true or not. But just wanted to point that out. I'm pretty sure if those bullets were actually 100 years old for that shotgun, I don't think they would work anymore because they expire, right? I'm pretty sure. Maybe not. Who knows? Who gives a shit? So I have written down here like Dr. Sartain twist coming. I can feel it. Because you think that, the reason why Ricky woke up and was released was because of the doctor. He wanted him to escape and get Laura back to the hospital or something. Like, I thought that's what was going on. I thought there was going to be some little twist, but there was no Sartain twist. Nope. Because he was like hell-bent on keeping her. Like, he's like, I need her, and she was threatening to like leave and never come back. And he was like, oh, she'll be back. Trust me. So I was like, oh, he released Ricky. It wasn't a coincidence. He let him. Nope, it was a coincidence. He didn't let him out. It's all just pure coincidence. And he gets there. He's like playing audio tape of screams, and then like, come on, Ricky, like I'm your friend. And then he gets stabbed in the gut. He's killed. Such bullshit. And so then, what else happens in this movie? Then they go in the basement, and she like knocks out the light. She's like, now we're even. How are you even? So yeah, the whole blind thing, it really does nothing here. It's like, so I guess they're trying to do like this don't breathe moment. Like she knocks out the light. Now he's blind too, but you can see everything down there. The way the light's shining down through, like you could still see everything down there. But yeah, the brother comes back to attack, help her out, and then he gets killed immediately. Shoots Ricky in the shoulder, where they always shoot bad guys in movies. They never go for the heart. They never go for the head. They always wing them, hit them in the shoulder. every fucking time. And then he just like falls on a mop handle. Like she's got a mop handle broken off in half so the end is sharp, and then she like stabs him right in the gut. So what was the power that helped her out there? Like her psychic abilities knew that that would work or something? Like I don't understand how her power did anything to help her out in the third act. Like did I like blink and miss something that explained it? Because I didn't understand that shit at all. So yeah, because I mean they really like hammer it home that like this power is gonna come back into play. The grandma, she comes back from the dead and like she's like a vision or something, some ghost saying to Laura like use your power. He can't hurt you when you use it or some shit like that. She never uses it. And then I guess she has like some kind of link to him even after he's dead because she like looks towards the camera and says Merry Christmas, and then it like has Ricky appear but kind of like see through on the screen. Like as they're driving away, you see Ricky pop up on the screen, and he's wearing a tuxedo for some reason, and he's looking at the camera, and he's like, "And a Happy New Year." What the hell? Like, so like, is she saying that? Is that what she's seeing him say that, or what is that? I don't get it. The doctor who got stabbed in the gut, the cops, they arrive at the last second. That's a cliche in horror films, and when they see his body, his dying words are "Don't be stupid." to the cop, "Don't be stupid." Those are his last words. Like, why couldn't there be more of that throughout the whole movie? Like, all that silliness. Keep giving us that, because this movie is just dreadful without all that shit. But there you have it. Those are my thoughts on this dreadful movie. What did you think about it? Did you like it? Let me know why. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.